and welcome to Dining and Doodles. I want to welcome anybody who's joining me today on Twitch. This is going to be the first time that we're going to be putting this on to Twitch. Unfortunately, we are not running today on Facebook. We're having a little bit of issue with them. We're going to be fixing that in the future. But today we have a request. Now, if you don't know what masking is, it is sort of a community. It's somewhat people enjoy it for a fetish. Sometimes people enjoy it just to be sort of a different person concept. The idea is basically if you've watched an episode of Scooby-Doo, it's a person under a mask who's someone else. And today we had a little request to do one featuring Lisa, who's the mother from Ponyo, who is the mother of the boy in Ponyo, not Ponyo's mother, and Ariel from Little Mermaid, of course. So we're going to be doing that today, and that I'm going to be doing this live here today on stream. So if you want to join in, chat with us, go right ahead. For now, we're going to go ahead to art. And there we go. I had already started off like I usually do with a sort of bare bones sketch of how I want this drawing to be. And we have our two different references. So we have Lisa right here, who's in the blue and white. And then we, of course, have Ariel right here. Very iconic character there. So we're going to be trying to go from there. And we've already got a setup here of a bare bones. So we've got the skeletal structure put in. And we're just going to add another layer here. So add a layer here, add a layer here. And then we're going to fade this layer right here. Well, let's do that here. And one of the things that we want to do is we're going to have Ariel's mask down here. Since it's a mask to be the mermaid, we're going to have Ariel's mask there, and we're going to have Lisa's head here. So we want to focus on Lisa's face on the top. So that's what we're going to do. This is a request from our Deviant Art account from a person named Bob. 579954 is the handle in Deviant Art. And we're going to just try and get this face as best I can to match that, which is not that difficult. She's a very plain looking faced individual. So we're going to make sure we're on the right layer here. Bring the black down. Bring her chin up, and ear right down there. Zoom around that way. She's got a bit of a long nose, but still sort of a cute one. So we're going to go long, out. There we go. She's actually got short bob, which is a very odd cut if it were real on a person. Because it'd be kind of sitting right here. So right at the cut of the ears is where her cut is. And so it's kind of an outward but flat bob. Now, I've seen, of course, both movies that this is referencing. My opinion of Ponyo is it wasn't the best of the Ghibli films. It probably was an okay one. The art was very much on point. You got the unique, especially when the water scenes, and very much of a true Ghibli style. But at the same time, it was kind of lackluster, story wise. It wasn't as grand or capable of, say, Spirited Away or Mononoke or Howls. I mean, it's an okay film. I wish it were a bit better, considering it was Ghibli, but at the same time, we're talking the end of Miyazaki's sort of film careers these days. He, of course, always says he's quitting, and he never really does. Um, I don't know if he's doing another film since he supposedly quit from Wind Rises or not. I've not paid attention to what Ghibli's doing these days. Since they've lost the contract with Disney, they're not really as prominent in the advertising of what they're doing. Which is kind of sad. Alright, so her hair actually has got to be cut right here, which is weird. Like I said, weird cut, weird cut. So we're actually going to raise that up a little bit. Don't ever be afraid of making mistakes, because, well, we all make mistakes. And we can find ways to correct them, or we can find ways to go around them. So we do this, bring it on over. And down. And over here. She doesn't even really have makeup on, so I mean, she's kind of a very plain character for Ghibli. Which I think is what kind of threw me off on this film is the art. Usually with Ghibli, their art style, their characters, there's a lot of detail. While it's simple, it's lighthearted and enjoyable. This one, the characters just didn't pop as much. I ain't given it was supposed to be more of a story with Ponyo and the main character, which I'm forgetting his name because it's been, gosh, 3 years since I've watched this movie. And the only thing I really remember is Liam Neeson and the film. Kind of wanted to have him do his whole Taken moment in the film when Ponyo disappeared. He's like, I will find you. I will. But I mean, it's a cute Ghibli, and I mean, I enjoyed Kiki's. Kiki's is one of my favorite little Ghibli films to watch. And I mean, that's another cutesy one, but at the same time, while it was simple, the characters had that sort of uniqueness to them. Lisa is plain to me. The only odd thing is being her weird bob. here. So, I mean, yeah, it's her. Even her eyes are kind of just plain. Um, I might go back and resketch it, honestly, because I'm not liking the way. In fact, let's do that. Resketch her face a little bit better. So we're just going to do a layer with a quick sketch. We want her hair to go right at her ear, because that's the way it goes. We need her eyes to sort of be right here, her nose to be right here, her mouth right here. So let's erase that there. Sketch the eye right here. And if this is the first time you're tuning in, if you've not seen this channel, if you've not seen me doing these on YouTube or on Facebook, if you're joining me on Twitch for the first time, my name is Brittany Dotson. I am an artist, a writer, a creator, and such. But I do these, I'm also known as Embry Art across the web. One of the big things that I do have a following in is these masking arts. I don't know why. I'm not a person that's into it, but I have a huge following in it. So I'm not surprised when I get requests like this. And as long as it meets the demands of the stream, meaning it's family friendly, I'm fine with it. So, this series is done completely by request. There are some times I'm not going to be doing something by request. I might do something wholly original or do something I really want to do myself. Next week is an example of such. But this week is a complete request. There are a few lining up, and I also do commissions. And I have my own comic series that is called Demon Blade. You can check it out on Webtoons, Tapas, Amazon themselves. It is available to read on Amazon, at least the first 6 chapters. I need to put up chapter 7, and I'm going to be doing a complete book of chapters 1 through 6 in the near future. I've got to get it put together. But on top of that, I have been involved in anime for, gosh, 25 years almost. I've been part of the anime community back when we were fighting to get Sailor Moon to stay on the air. So that shows how long I've been doing this. I ran one of the first fan magazines on the internet that was called Anime in America. And I have created a RPG that involves also has versions for Fairy Tail, One Piece, and Naruto that have gotten somewhat fan over the years. And in the future, we're going to do some more streams here on Twitch and on YouTube. There will be also probably ones on Facebook. The current running request is to do a gaming stream. I will warn you, I suck at video games. And that is no lie. So if I do a gaming stream, it's going to be interesting. I will probably pick some games, and I will probably let other people pick some games. And likely the games they pick, I will be horrible at. Because I am not a big gamer. I do play video games, but I tend to play sort of crafting games, or Stardew Valley is one of my favorite. In fact, I'll probably do the expansion pack that somebody put out there as one. So we'll do the modded version of Stardew probably. And a few others. So, let's see, that kind of gives me her face. And I also got the shell going for Ariel's bra. Now we do need to do the neckline. And these are just rough sketches that we will use to clean up with our outline as we go. In fact, what I'm going to do is we're going to change this to... Oh, that didn't do it. Do not color. All right, we're going to fade this. We're going to change that to blue. And we'll do the same with this color. I'm going to go ahead and hide these layers. And let's see here. This is going to be the layer we're going to work on. Oh, thought I was on the zoom. This, of course, is done in Clip Paint Studio. I use Clip Paint Studio EX in pretty much all my work. It is a wonderful sort of art program, especially for cartoonists, manga artists, animators, and such. It is perfect for sort of any kind of tablet art. So, I mean, if you're going to use a tablet like I'm using right now, it's very handy. Those wondering what kind of tablet I use a Intuos. This is probably a 3 or 4 year old Intuos tablet. I used to use a Bamboo. It's just sort of what I've been trained to use over the years. This is kind of how the style was. I know they've got some that are going cheaper, including the one from Wacom and whatnot that I'd love to have, that I could actually see what I'm drawing underneath my pen. That'd be great. But right now, funds don't allow that, so. So we're going to put her neck down here, and then Ariel's mask line right in here. And that's sort of an important thing when you do this style, this concept, is to always, I learned it the hard way when I first was given this sort of concept. I did a traditional sort of Halloween mask, and I got chewed out about it by the people that like it. They were like, well, we wanted to form fit. And so when you have sort of that cuffle right there, you want to kind of give that illusion. But at the same time, you need to break that illusion, especially if you're doing a single art piece like this. So you need to give one step to break apart the illusion, look sort of behind the scenes at the work as it gets done. Now, out of these two, I have drawn Ariel before. Um, there's a series of comics that I've been commissioned to do through Patreon uh, that we call the Disney Princess Pet Peril. Um, it's a little bit more along the lines of probably furry masking, where they're sort of more costume characters. And Ariel's one of the, of course, Disney princesses in the image. So I'm kind of used to drawing her because of that comic. So let's see here. We're going to put her hair right here. The weird bob right here. And we're going to go back over there. Her eyes are just black. Like I said, very plain Jane kind of character for Ghibli. She's almost what you would see as sort of like a cartoon mascot on a snack food box. Maybe that's what they were going for. I'm not too completely sure. Well, her eyes aren't as big, so we'll fix those. So let's fix her eyes a bit. See, sometimes the simple throws you off. I one of the things I always like to listen to is some of the animators have complained over the years about having to draw Monkey D. Luffy in One Piece, and it's simply because they can't get his pupils right. And he is by far one of the simplest designed pupil character. So I mean, you get his eyes, and he's kind of like this. So I mean, he's literally just a circle and a dot for his eye. Now, sometimes his eye may be, going down and more stern, but he's still got that dot. And when you're trying to draw a symmetrical drawing, sometimes it's hard to get those dots to line up and look right. And it's that simplicity that's easy to draw for manga artists that sometimes, if you're going to draw it thousands of times over in anime, it's gonna be mind numbing because you're going to get in those little tiny problems that's going to drive you crazy. So there we go. We're getting our eyes better. And she definitely has more of a wave into her hair, so we'll add that. I want to try and put as much detail as I can into her face because this is the only part of Lisa that we see. So, while Ariel herself is not very much detail either, for being a 90s Disney cartoon character, I want to try and give as much personality as I can of Lisa coming through on the outside. Let's fix her ear a little bit here, and we'll we'll just touch up on the wavy pattern of the hair. Give her sort of my stylized ear setup. I've already gave her sort of my stylized nose. If you've not seen any of my art, this is sort of a style of mine. Just do this sort of reverse or lowercase or odd way of L's and V's to sort of get a nose to appear. It's sort of a way I handle the drawing to give sort of a unique sort of look to a piece. It is just something I do as an artist. Each person as an artist does their own tips and tricks when they're doing a piece of their own. Now, if you're doing something as an animator, of course, you're doing things based off of the character designer and the character stat sheets. So you're going to make it look as much like, because you're going to be repeating these images over and over again, and sometimes you're not the only artist on that art character, so you're going to be doing focus on that character through different pinpoints and different styles. I also apologize for the raspiness of my throat today. If you don't follow me on Facebook or on Twitter, you don't know that I've been sick for the last few days. So I have had literally no voice for 2 days, and today is sort of me breaking in to do this stream. I'm supposed to do another video recording. I don't know if I'm going to get to that until later in the week because of how my voice is. By next week, though, I'm sure I will have my voice back up and running. So now I'm just going to touch on elements of the base body of Ariel. We're going to go down. And of course, Ponyo was very much the same story as Little Mermaid. Just a different sort of way it was told, but the story is very much the same as the Hans Christian Andersen Little Mermaid story. Of course, both the Disney and Ponyo ended happy, which was not the case in Hans Christian Andersen's book. Very, very tragic and dark stories. I guess back in the day, you wanted to make your kids cry. If you don't know the real story of the Little Mermaid, I suggest checking out the original Little Mermaid. It's not a long book. Of course, it is a children's story. But be forewarned, it is not a happy book. Ariel does not get what she wants in the end. I will bring back the page there to use for coloring later. But for right now, I want to get the shell art because she's got her shell bikini. So it's obviously 1, 2, 3, 4 marks, and they go straight up. So there's no There's no actual end there. So we're going to give her a little bit of the boob. I, of course, was probably, gosh, my young teens when this movie came out, when Little Mermaid came out. Um, this dates me. I am in my 40s. I am a Gen X kid. So don't be like, hey, boomer. No, I am a Gen X kid. Um, but yeah, Little Mermaid. I did not go and see it in theaters. I think I actually saw Beauty and the Beast before I saw Little Mermaid. And of course, Beauty and the Beast is probably one of my favorite Disney films. Um, live action, yeah. Um, it was a movie. Not a big fan of live Disney doing live action versions of their properties, but I mean, hey, it's their properties. They can do what the heck they want with them. Um, it is sad, sort of, to see them try to be like, well, let's improve what we already own, and it's like, come on, let's create something new. Let's bring actual creativity back into the industry. But I mean, sometimes you just got to question where Disney's going to be in this industry. And right now, I don't know. So let's see here. We're going to do Finn right here. Go down to that. Let's see here. Bring this, 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 and this. Bring it on over. And bring the hand on down. Okay. Whew. Feeling some of that sweat kicking back in from me getting sick. Let's see here. So let's try and bring the rock that we're going to have her sitting on over. Sort of mimic the official statue of the Little Mermaid out in, I think it's in Copenhagen. Now, of course, that statue is of just a general mermaid, not the Disney mermaid, because she was put up way before Disney came out with the Little Mermaid. because it's Disney, we've got to do the exaggerated chin. And the exaggerated nose. They really kind of curve their noses in. If ever you want to do a Disney art, you want to do a princess. One is their big sort of eyes, like, oh, I'm not even doing it right there. You got to make sure they have these big sort of oval, almost football eyes. Here, see here. So you can see how sort of her eye is like this. And then she's got this sort of, Disney always has this sort of oval look. So I mean, there when you actually sketch it, it's kind of like this. And then they put the lid right here. So they always have that sort of sleepy-eyed look in their princesses. I don't think it's been changed ever since the 1990s when Little Mermaid started that look. It's sort of the Disney style to their princesses. So actually, let's give her sort of that eye. Let's try and work that eye a bit. Zoom in. Bring up the eyebrows, or eyelashes, and then bring in the eyebrow. We're going to bring down this. We're going to give it her eyes wide. Now, as a mask, because I want to portray it being a mask, I'm going to do a double layer there. And we're going to give a little notification of where the ear hole is there. And we're going to give her her mouth. Give her her lip. Bottom lip is always bigger than the top lip. In the case of Disney, the lip goes all around, all the way across. Let's shrink that eraser, clean that up, and we give a little bit of lip there. I'm going to give her a little bit of the chin there. We're going to try and repeat the eye a bit. They get 3 eyelashes. Do a little bit of the inner mask there. And a single thin eyebrow. Bring her hair around. We're going to have it bouncing all around. There's the rest of this neck. Went a little too far there. Let's get... Does she have earrings? No, she does not have earrings. She does have a little sideburn. If I were to do her as a princess, she would have her earrings. But since she's not being in her princess form, she's going to be in her mermaid form. She does not. So we're going to fix the chin here a little bit. And add a little bit of a wrinkle in the face. We'll zoom out a bit and try and do her hair as we sort of sketched out earlier. Let's see here. Bring in the eraser for some of this. I don't mind erasing a little bit of the tail there. Just going to do a slight touch the hair there. Erase that. Bring that over here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch up on the outer side with the lighter green, since I am going to do this in color. So we're just going to erase that side. And that outer fin is just going to be in that lighter green. But the inner fin is going to be done in the black. So there we've got our most of our drawing of her done. I do want to get a bit of the rock here that I've got. I kind of want to put a little bit of the water sort of reflecting the rock. Well, let's just do the rock right now, and we'll do the water as we go. All right, now let's get that green, that sort of light, sickening green. And the pen tool. I'm actually going to increase my pen tip for this. And we, of course, bring the detail that her fin. Which has just as much characteristic as her hair. In the case of Ariel, bring that sort of detail out. Very dress-like, flowing fin. So she sort of gives that princess look even without wearing a dress. Let's add some color. So right away, I see that I'm leaking somewhere. I see. There we go. Add the green of fin. And there's sort of a faded green right here that goes in right there. I'm going to do that same faded green right in there. Then we want the purple of the shell. And we must have an opening over on this side. We do. I see it. Get rid of the hair. We definitely have an opening on that side. All right. So let's find where we can find it. Somewhere between here and down there. So let's see. There it is. All right, for the inner of the mask, I want to get sort of this darker tone. And we're going to put it a little bit right in there, where it meets the neck. Let's get her lips. Do a little sort of, just a sort of side to see that it's a mask. Add a wrinkle to the neck. Then we get the lighter green for the fin. Fill out. Now we're bringing colors for Lisa. She's got this yellow, sickly yellow, say almost Simpsons color skin tone. She's got white across her eyes, so we're going to do white there. White there. All right, let's see. Let's get her hair color in there. Very easy to see where the hair is being an issue, so it's going to be right here. So we can actually take the hair color, put it in there. That's sort of the basics of this. Now we're going to add some shading and cut texture because we want to make this look a little bit better. But I mean, that's basically what I need from, at least for Lisa. Lisa's done part of it. So I'm going to just go ahead and put her away. I don't fully like how the shell goes. But Ariel is, of course, supposed to be teenager. So she's not supposed to be well built. Let's add some shading, though. We're going to hit skin tone first. We want to hit the face down here. Okay. So we're just going to do some basics, some shadowing areas. You'd have the ear, any of the wrinkles on the mask are going to have it. Right under the eye sometimes has it. And of course, where hair falls. It's going to create a shadow. On this part, right where the shell is. So we're going to have a shadow from underneath. A little bit right there on the belly. Well, not so much. So let's go there. Let's go with the belly button there. A little bit from sort of the wrinkle of the mask there. The cleavage. Under the arm. fingers around. And I got a little message here from the cooking dojo, who I do a lot of work from, and they're asking, how's everything? Everything's doing great. Just glad you tuning in. Uh, I, of course, have some commissions to do for him coming up. Uh, and I will be showing those off hopefully in the next few days. Depends on both my health and how things are pulling out through artwork. I also am in the process of trying to find new work because, well, unfortunately, my health has gotten pretty bad over the last few months. And while I've started doing these, it's easier to do stuff from home these days for me. And no, it is not COVID related as to what my health problems are. We don't know, unfortunately. I am a giant medical mystery in a lot of ways. We went too far there. Hold on. And I hit it too many times. Let's get that. Now, those were wondering why this is called Dining in Doodles, I will show you. This is my dinner. I literally originally came up with the concept of this series as to be able to do a doodle to draw something real quick in the time that I sit down and eat a dinner. Tonight's dinner is some chicken mugu gai pan from a wonderful Chinese place. They gave it to me correctly. And the only mystery today is they gave me some fried wontons. I don't know why. I didn't order them. I'm not going to object to them. But, you know, hey. I'll add them to salad or something down the line. If you want to see sort of like me try some different foods or try anything by request, I'll be happy to try and do it as long as I can physically eat it. That has sort of been the challenge when originally this plan of series started. It wasn't as much of a challenge these days, unfortunately, due to my health. It's become more of a problem. And I do have some other. I'm a decent cook. I'm not going to say I'm a great cook because I've never really been professionally trained. I've just been trained like probably about maybe I would say 80% of people are by my grandmother. She showed me how to cook. She took me by the side and I got to learn all the basics, and I am the inheritor of her cooking recipes. So I've got probably almost 100-year-old cookbook sitting on my bookshelf behind me, with recipes including fried chicken, Sunday roast, all those good stuff that is fattening and delicious. And as a Southerner, absolutely, absolutely something that is imperative for a Southerner to have is a family cookbook. So let's do Ariel's hair a bit here. We're going to add some darker tones. bit of tone change. Select, let's see here, let's add dark here. Select, deselect. And some dark there. A little bit of dark there. Let's add some texture to this rock here. So we're gonna just do some slight. This is one of the things I love to use this pen. It's called the G pen in clip paint. I love it because it, depending on how light you go, you can add sort of a texture or slight little changes with the pen. Because I can go from here where it's thin and almost evaporates to thick, and I haven't even changed the tip. And this is just giving a little bit of texture to the piece. Like with any outfit you would wear, you always kind of want to have a little bit of texture in your piece, your art, and your outfits. And all you really need is sort of a little bit of just touches here and there. So we're going to make that sort of the shadow end of this rock. Let's get a good gray here. And we'll finish the rock over on this end here. Then we're going to add the sea behind. So we're going to go on the layer below. We're going to add a, let's see here. Her colors are green, so let's go with a dark blue sea. Right now I'll just do a flat color there. And I've got a nice little brush that I downloaded. If I can find it. Here we go. That should have water effect on it. Let's see here. Yes. If I can get this done right. Well, I don't want that kind of water effect. Let's do this kind of water effect. And we're going to go lighter tone. We're going to bring that over to the top. Actually, yeah, let's do undo. We've got this fine wavy look to water. And I'm gonna do another layer. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do it in green. This is gonna be an overlay. Now see, this is why I didn't want to do this fully in green, but I want to kind of get just a fade effect on that water. We're going to do it as an overlay. We're just going to fade that off. We're going to actually get rid of Ariel right now. There we go. Add a blue sky in the background. And one of the things I want to do with these two, which actually sort of do a little effect here. We're going to blend that, fade that line there. Effect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly fade that in. Actually, let's undo that first. Let's do let's duplicate this. I'm going to hide the duplicate. Now we do the fade. And the reason I do the duplicate, one, in case I don't like what it comes, and two, I can sort of do a fade in and still give the detail. So we're going to slowly bring out the detail in the sea. Gives it a nice horizon view that the sea and the sky is sort of got a mist on it. You can't tell where one begins and the other ends. Bring this in, and we're gonna fade that on in so we can kind of see the texture going on in the background as it fades into the back. do one more layer, and we're going to do another layer, a little bit of white of the waves. So let's see, that's probably what we want. A little bit of wave. We're just going to fade that off. Now we're going to add some clouds. For that, we're going to go to a brush that is specifically designed for clouds. We're just going to add a few clouds here. A few clouds there. This isn't the best cloud brush, but since I've switched computers, it's probably the best I can find at the moment for clip paint. There are better ones out there, I know, because I've used them. But I'm trying to find a decent one these days. The one I used to use, I'm thinking they probably quit allowing it to be on there. We're going to just do a motion blur. And to add an effect, we're going to do duplicate layer, and we're going to invert it. So we're going to select, and we're going to edit, transform, scale and rotate. We're going to rotate these clouds. Well, no, we want to not just rotate it, we want to edit, transform. We want to flip horizontal. And we want to transform, flip vertical. And we're going to bring them down here. And it's actually going to go right over clouds there. And actually we need to move them a bit better. And we're going to do a lighten. Now let's see, screen dodge, no. Overlay a little bit, maybe. Let's add darken a little bit. See, this is where it's always good to sort of just play with it, learn what you want to do, see if you can find what will look best in this scene. See, screen is just too much. Color dodge, not the right thing. Glow dodge, definitely not the right thing. There we go. And we're going to add some color to that blue in the sky. So we're going to just bring a little bit of dark blue in and just fade that in. And we'll go up to the light blues. Come on. Waiting for an update. And there we go. Now we'll just touch up on a few other things on the rock and to finish up the character. So let's get the rock selected. For this, let's go with a more rougher brush. So, got this sort of dry gouge brush, and I'm going to do a second layer here, and we're going to just try and add a little bit of a texture brush and a textured shadow to our rock. Of course, we have a character on said rock, so we want to have her shadow appear in this rock. Let's see here. We'll do sort of a blend in here a little bit. Just kind of get these to work. Add maybe a darker color in here for the shadows. There's no right or wrong way as long as you just have fun. And that is the key with any art or any craft. If you're not having fun, if you're just being upset about what you got, then you're probably not enjoying it. To the point to where you're not going to have any enjoyment out of the piece at any point. So let's see, let's bring in the blend tool a bit. We're just kind of lightly hitting it with our blender just to give it sort of a more natural progression of shadow. And then I'm going to hit with a bit of a harder shadow under the character. So we're going to just do a slight, if I can get the brush size right. There we go. Just going to hit a slight over shadow here, slight shadow here. Just enough to make that character pop a little bit more. And we're going to do let's see here. Screen, no. Subtract, maybe. Linear Vern. That's probably better. Let's just try and get. There we go. We're going to want to add a little bit of shadow down here. See, it doesn't need to be some big, grand piece there just to do something fun and interesting. We're going to add some highlights here. So we're going to do a little bit of a lighter tone. I'm not going to even go to the Ariel. I'm just going to go straight with my own palettes. And we're just going to softly now sort of give her a little bit of a highlight on her fin. And we'll do the same sort of for her fins down here. And my color's a little too high, so let's lower that so that, well, it's still too high. Go down to 5. There we go. We want to keep that highlighted area for the lines so that they come out a little bit better. And we're just going to add a slightly darker tone to this sickly green. In certain spots. So right here, add it going in right in here. A little bit down here. And it just helps to bring the character out a little bit. Don't need too much, just a little bit. And then we're going to go back over to that, and we're going to do a little bit of a highlight. So we're going to go up here. And so right here, I'm going to put in a little bit of light. Now, I could stop here because basically Ariel had the more defined. I want to try and do something with Lisa's face. It's the awkward piece in this part. So I want to try and add some shadow, which was not done in the anime to her. So deselect. So when doing a skin tone shadow, her skin tone is this, like we went over, is yellowy, Simpsons-y yuck. If you have skin tone like that, see a doctor. You probably have jaundice. We just want to go a slightly darker tone for a lighter shadow. And this is just sort of like a small light shadow. And we're just going to go under, and we're going to get the nose right here. Now, as I was talking about when we did the mask, the eyes have a little bit of dark crease, right in, especially right around the nose and the eye, brow. So right in here. This is going to be your darkest part of your eye. The upper lip is going to be your darkest part of your lips. Right under your nose is going to be your darkest part of your nose. And right under your chin is going to be the darkest part of your skin tone. So when you're drawing a comic, when you're drawing a character, you almost want to do 2 different layers of shadow. One that goes right under the chin like that. And doing something like that helps it pop a little bit. We're going to add some more. We're going to do some more here. I don't like this sickeningly color, but we're going with it because that's what it was in the series. So we're going to add a little bit of a dark tone in her hair to make it pop a little bit better. Just a fraction. And this is what I do when I do my own characters, my own artwork. I will do something similar. I just want to sort of give that hint of 3D in a 2D space. And there we have it. I mean, it was a quick, literally a minute drawing set up there to get what we wanted. Now what we take is, I'm going to fix the shell a little bit here. So we're going to do the shadow right here because it's where the shell will hit. And we'd have a little bit of a highlight. So we're just going to go here, get a little lighter tone, and we're just going to hit these 4 areas with a little bit of a light. And there we have it. We have the drawing as requested. Let me put his name back up here. So we have the request from Bob 579954 on Deviant Art to do a masking of Lisa from Ponyo on the cliff by the sea disguised as Ariel from Little Mermaid. Here we go. We've got our drawing. So I'm just going to do one last thing, and that is initial the piece. Or 21. There we go. And we're going to save this. And that is completed drawing. Now, because this is a little bit earlier than normally, just a tad, I'm going to do one other quick thing with you all. But first, I do have to pitch one thing, and that is my sponsorship with Built Bar. So let me get over to that section. And those who don't know, Built Bar is a proud sponsor of this stream. I absolutely adore them. This is the Grasshopper Cookie Built Bar. It is one of their latest flavors. These are always made with real dark chocolate. They are low calorie, low carb, low sugar. These are protein bars, but by God, they taste like a candy bar. So if you are trying to lose weight or find a way to cut back on your sugar, these are the trick. These will fool your brain into enjoying something good and sweet that is actually not at all bad for you. So these are Built Bars. They're by Built, of course. I am going to actually enjoy this one right now because I have not had this one. So I'm going to give you a review live of what I think of this Grasshopper Cookie one. I can taste the mint. I can taste the chocolate. And there's almost this rich chocolatey mousse in this bar. And I gotta say, I was kind of wondering when they came out with this if it would be different than, if I could tell the difference between this and the mint chocolate brownie. Because they're essentially the same thing. And I can. This one is far richer, darker chocolate flavor. And I can taste the mint there. So, I mean, you have that hint of mint, but the chocolate is just, Probably not the best thing, being sick. But, damn it, tastes really good. So, if you want one of these delicious Built Bars, go to built.com and get them for yourself. You can get multiple flavors. They have tons of flavors out there based off of the likes, and they focus on flavor first. So use the promo code EmbryoArt to get 10% off your order. This is the brand that's so good that the U.S. Olympic team for their track and field also chose these as the protein bars, and I can't blame them. These are delicious, man. So rich, so chocolatey. The perfect replacement for a dessert if you're a sugar freak like me and you need to cut back on those sugars. These are great. That being said, I'm going to go back to the drawing. Now, as I said, I wanted to do something special since this is our first Twitch stream. This is the first time we're doing this live on Twitch. I wanted to sort of just do a quick drawing from start to finish. So what we're going to do is we're just going to chat away and we'll see what we can come up with. So we're going to do a head of a character. Get sort of eyes going here. Here. See how quick I can put this character together here. Whenever you do a humanoid character, you kind of want to do this egg shape. And in this case, I'm doing what's sort of in my head. I have been working on, and my Patreons have seen it, sketches for a possible new webtoon. And I wanted to sort of draw out this new character. And I'm giving them sort of this plain look face. So I wanted to give them sort of like reflected of Deku, My Hero, some other types. This sort of big eyes with little pupils. Same with Luffy, like I said earlier. Character, a little bit of a face. I'm not going to quite reveal the plans of this comic outside of Patreon right now, because it's still a long ways off. But I wanted to just sort of do a quick sketch of how you go about doing a character design. So we're doing neck. This character is supposed to be not that bulk. He's basically supposed to be this, while he's supposed to be teenage, well, almost college, pretty much college age. He's supposed to be very young looking. And the main thing I haven't gotten down yet is how I want him to look hair-wise. We can do sort of a shoulder look right here. Sketch this out. And right now, it is very much Deku. If I did the hair sort of like curly around, it would be Deku. This character, though, I was thinking of doing this sort of creepy, well, not really creepy, this sort of bowl cut look to him. Because the concept of the character is that they've never really fit in. They've always kind of been out. And I kind of want them to look plain, it's going to be, he's not going to have much of a family that he knows of. Let's give him a cowlick. Let's do the tri-cowlick there. So we just, in that, it was literally just 2 minutes, we're done. Edit, transform, scale, shrink it down, move on. This is basically something, as an artist, you're regularly going to do, especially if you're going to do comics and do art. You're going to want to do sort of sketch pads. And I wanted to just do sort of a quick sketch pad of some of the characters that I've been designing as of late. While I do have characters that I have designed in Demon Blade, it's my comic book series that's currently available. I'm currently also working on this series in the background, just sort of sketching out ideas. And so this is another character concept. This is going to be a robot of sorts. Whereas Demon Blade is fantasy, this is very much going to be a sci-fi series. Gave them sort of a baseball, tennis ball look, but each one sort of has a unique personality. This one is going to be called Jack, I think. And actually, we'll or at least nickname Jack for right now. And for reasons being, they're going to have a jack-o'-lantern on their head. So we want to do a pumpkin. Pumpkin vines sort of do this twist thing here. Just do this arm. This is just sort of a quick little thing we do here just to create the character. I think I'm going to give Jack treads. So he's going to have tank treads. Each one of them has this sort of adapter. Scenario. And you don't really want to, when you're designing these, you don't want to spend too much time focusing on the look too greatly. This is going to be the other one. This one I already have the name fully. Her name is jokingly Robich. Because, well, she has a witch hat on. And she's a robot. There's a reason in the story they get these outfits on. Robich flies. So I give her sort of this UFO body. Get the circle. Both sort of have the similar hands because they're basically the same style of robot. But they just have different personalities. Just something quick. Put together. That's all we're looking for. Nothing too grand. Just looking to try and get a look. In fact, Robich has got some this sort of cut to her face. I think Jack's going to have sort of a different kind of cut. There's going to be a character named Mr. Nibbles. Who is a cat that has been given the ability to act human. And despite the name Mr. Nibbles is female. But don't piss her off. So this is literally the first time I'm drawing Mr. Nibbles. So we're just sort of doing a basic cat face. Maybe give Mr. Nibbles a big old ribbon on the back. And I think Mr. Nibbles is going to have a fluffy tail. Let's try and do a better face of Mr. Nibbles. So let's go with basic cat face. So we're going to get a little bit there. Cat sort of has a snout, nose, chin going up. We're going to do the ears going out. Two feline eyes. But we're going to do this sort of permanent scowl on Mr. Nibbles. Mr. Nibbles is not a bad character. Mr. Nibbles is just an upset character. When Mr. Nibbles doesn't get her way. But that is typical of any cat. So if we wanted to do sort of like a darker detail here, let's see, let's bring out the line. Let's bring out the eyes. Bring out the nose. Come down to the mouth. Sure fang. Do a little line here for her eye. Just give her that permanent scowl. Sort of reflect it over on this end. Bring her ear around. And sort of there you go. That's creating a character literally in about 5-10 minutes. So therefore, from here, I probably work on Mr. Nibbles a little bit more detail in the series, determine whether or not how she's going to look a little bit more. This could be just the sort of the start of what she looks like to the finish. But this is a good sort of starting point for creating said character. And it's sort of key because I started working on this idea probably about 2 weeks ago. Working on the story, working on how I want these characters to develop. And since it's more sci-fi, there's going to be aliens, there's going to be robots. I want to derive that as many characters as I can. So when I develop a character, I need to go for a more cartoony look. The humans are going to look human. In this case, Mr. Nibbles is going to look very much like a cat, but have very human personalities. The robots are going to have this weird cartoony look to them. At least these robots are. There'll probably be other robots that are going to have different looks. And aliens are going to have weird looks. And it's all part of the creation process is you got to go and try and find new ways to create while you're working on something. So and I'll even pull these up for you guys. You'll be able to see for the first time the sketches I did a few days ago for the website or for people to see on my Patreon. So these are some of the earlier sketches of the people. Here's the Robitch right here. There's the main character again, trying to work on his look a bit. 2 other humans that are going to be in the series, working on their bit. Another one of Robitch, a little bit more detail on how I wanted her to look. Working out how sort of her hand moves, her arm moves, and see how things look with it. If I wanted to look this way or another way. Um, Even worked a little bit on cats. So this wasn't fully the first part with Mr. Nibbles. It was sort of just sketch out how I want the cat's face to look. So, I mean, it's little bits like this that you work on, and it only takes 5 to 10 minutes to do something, to create a character that you're going to make part of you, part of your series. And that's something that I like to bring out. And if you're an artist and a creator, I'd love to see your own work. This is an area that I will do some creativity parts. I will do some of my own drawings, and I will do fan art in this series. I live by requests on this series. So if you have something you want to be seen, if you have your own character you want drawn, you want your own pet drawn, as long as it's, quote, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook friendly. So it has to be has to be able to be on these channels. I can't do anything not safe for work. As long as it's friendly on those channels, I will be happy to put it on here. Just leave a comment in the video or leave a message through social media. Pretty much you can find me on most of the medias. You can see up at the top, we have my links appearing above there. Go and contact me through any of those means. Say, hey, I want to request a drawing. And I'll be more than happy to add it here. Next week, I'm going to be drawing a character I've been meaning to draw for a while. And this is a request I put out for myself to do. And that character is going to be One Piece's Yamamoto. So next week is going to be a Yamamoto drawing. It'll be the first time I'm drawing her. And we'll see how that goes. Until then, I hope you all enjoy and keep on creating. And I will see you in future streams coming out on different platforms for also gaming and maybe some other kind of streams in the future. But I'll see you next Saturday for the Yamamoto drawing. Catch you then. And until then, have a good evening. And keep on creating. Let's see, come on. Where's the... There we are. Keep on creating, and we'll see you next time.